We're going to follow everything that Stacy said earlier, talking about what the monthly spending plan looks like. And now we've created our own monthly spending plans, and we want to know how we're going to follow through on them. Excuse me, fighting a cold. So I want you all to think, how will I stick to my spending plan, meet my savings goals, and work toward healing in my relationships? Because we want all of those things to improve together at the same time. It's very organic. So what we're going to do now is number off and form small groups of 3 or 4. There are 4 of you, so there's your small group. And we're going to take 5 minutes together to create a 2-minute skit or role play that demonstrates how your spending plan can work to build trust and healing in your relationships. For example, you could perform a skit of a family talking together about their budget, or a skit of what it would look like when you struggle to say no to an unnecessary purchase, maybe like something at the corner store, or something that Isaac and Eva could have done differently about Michael's computer. So we're just gonna be creative. And after 5 minutes, we'll perform our dramas and applaud each group, which is just the one group. And together as a large group, we're gonna summarize the main point of each drama into 1 sentence. So, you're all on group.
Okay. So I was thinking that with the holidays coming up, that is a really big challenge for sticking to a spending plan. The holidays really can throw a wrench into that. So I don't know, maybe we can do a little skit that has something to do with it.
Right, because I always feel pressured to make sure my kids have what other kids are having for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good idea. So how do we want to arrange it?
So maybe we could have a mom and a dad, and we could have kids
asking for things.
What if you and I are the kids asking for things?
Yeah.
And you guys are
we have to be the responsible ones. Okay. So you could be asking for things, and then what are we gonna do on our side of it?
Well, we're gonna have to
go shopping.
We're gonna have to go shopping, but we're gonna have to let them down gently that we can't get the expensive gifts. But we'll find something that they'll really like. Don't know what that would be.
Okay.
So you be the mother and you can let them down gently, and I'll be the child.
I can let them down gently. Okay.
You know, maybe we can ask them if there's something less as they help us with the budget that they would be happy with.
I like that. Maybe we could help like with the Christmas budget.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I know with
Involve
our
them.
family we do each person chooses a gift, but it's between a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So maybe we could kind of
Incorporate that.
go
Yeah.
kind of with that.
All right, are we ready to act this out?
Sure.
Ready.
So there's a lot of prep.
Very spontaneous.
All right, so I'm gonna get out of the way so you guys
Okay.
can have the floor.
You can be our audience.
Yes.
You better clap.
I got to sit in a big chair. All right, so I'm ready to see your skit.
At the store I saw they had an LOL dream house, Barbie house, LOL house. And it only cost $150. Can I have it for Christmas?
Oh, wow, that sounds
No,
really.
no, I was at school and this kid had a Nintendo.
Oh.
Yes, and he said his mom got it. It's only $200.
Oh, wow.
So you guys can get that, right?
Wow. Well.
Yeah. Perfect Christmas. It would make me so happy.
You know, kids, we need you to join us in making our budget work. And so spending $200 and another $150 just on one gift each is not within our budget. So why don't you work with
Those
us?
things sound really fun, but
They do.
we really need to stick to our budget that we created, and so.
So we need you to think of some gifts that you would still like, but would be within our spending for Christmas this year.
We've been saving up, and
Yeah.
we only have $150 to spend on the whole family. So,
Man.
so you
And I
need
don't
to
want
just
a
kind
Barbie
of
dream house, whatever you think.
LOL house.
Yeah. So,
Well-
are there other things that you would like? I mean, I know your heart is kind of set on those big gifts, but
Well, I really do love the LOLs, but maybe maybe I could just have 4 new LOL dolls, and I could make my own house for them.
You know, and you are so good at woodworking,
I could
maybe.
make a house
Maybe you
for
could build a house together and you
Yeah.
can design it exactly the way you
That would
want
be
it.
cool.
It would be.
Nobody'd have one like it then.
That's
I
right.
have my own.
Unique, yeah.
Cool.
Special.
What about
Yeah.
you,
And I
Stace?
guess we have the basketball hoop in the backyard. We don't have a basketball.
Oh, perfect.
So maybe something for sports. I like
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good
maybe we
find
could do
something.
something like that. Then we could play outside together.
I like that.
And I guess I would play with you too, with your house.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
I'll let you play with it.
Okay.
You guys are being
Yes.
so mature. I am
Yes.
so proud of you
I am too.
because it's gonna take all of us working together
Yeah.
to make our budget work.
Yes.
Good job.
I love you.
Thank you guys.
That was great. I am very impressed. So I made a mistake. I want to jump back before we discuss your skits. And I forgot to let you all answer. How are we going to follow our monthly spending plan? What are we going to do to stick to it?
Oh.
Skipped over that because it's a
Tell
hard
our
question.
kids no.
All right. We got to write
Tell
that down.
ourselves no.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a harder thing than
Yes.
telling your kids
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm left-handed, so you're going to have to just forgive me. Okay, so tell ourselves and our kids no. That can be really hard. What are some other things that we can do to stick to our plan?
Well, I think I'm sorry. I was thinking of putting my entertainment money like in an envelope. Because I kind of forget how much money I spend on stuff that's fun for me, and I always want to spend more. So that's a hard one for me to stick to, but
Yeah.
maybe seeing how much I have
I
left.
think that made me think of another thing is that sometimes I'm bad about going through and like balancing my checkbook and
Yes,
like
I was
writing
gonna say
down
that
all of my expenses. And so I think for me, I need to make sure that I'm spending that 10 minutes every day, like even Isaac said in the role play, they're spending 10 minutes. If I would just do that every night, then I wouldn't accidentally overspend.
I know
from-
if I forget to write down a debit card purchase and then I think the money's still there,
Yeah.
that's bad. So good.
Another idea could be spending some time thinking about alternative ways to have the entertainment and the fun and the eating that isn't so expensive and buying gifts.
Well, and finding there's so much free things you can do,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in your own home.
If
or,
you just research that.
yeah,
then,
even just like going to the park or
Right.
going for a walk. That's finding
Yeah.
free
Playing a
things.
game together as a family. That's
Yes.
something
Oh, yeah.
we've been doing lately that's doesn't cost anything, but
Exactly.
we are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, plus that works on building relationships, which is just as important.
Yeah.
So.
All right, these are some really great examples. Let me finish writing this here. Again, left-handed, I apologize, it's gonna smudge a little bit. Yeah, these are some great examples, being able to tell ourselves and our kids no. And I like that when we tell ourselves no, our kids are seeing that we're doing the same thing for us that we're doing for them. The envelopes is a great thing. There was a period of time where I used envelopes for groceries and gas and everything like that. And it's because it helps you spend a little less money because you're feeling the money leave your hand instead of just swiping a card. Spending time on your budget daily, that's a great one too. Just having that discipline to go through it each and every day and really track what you're doing. And then being creative with entertainment is a really good one too, because you can find free things like the park where you can do things together that build your relationships. Any other ideas about meeting the savings goals? And so we see that this is one that works on healing our relationships too. What about meeting savings goals?
I think to be realistic
Okay.
about your savings goals. I think if you're too lofty, it's not, you can't reach it. I think if you were just very honest about what you can do,
Right. Don't be afraid to start small.
yes.
Yeah, and looking at Isaac and Eva's example, it was amazing how just cutting $10 off a few different or half and made such a big difference.
Right.
So maybe a more conservative budget, how that can make a difference.
Well, or maybe just looking at every time I spend something and thinking, is there a better way I could do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what would I write that as?
I don't know.
How would you write that?
Well, maybe spending the time every night, it helps you have it on the front of your brain, I think, so that you're thinking
more
about
aware
it.
of what you're spending.
Yeah.
More aware. My handwriting is getting worse as we keep going.
I know that's how
Okay, yeah, these are some great things. I'm sorry I forgot for us to go through that before we did the skit. So now I want to talk about your skit, which was great. So what we're going to do is summarize the main point of your skit into one sentence. So who has a good sentence?
Staying within budget. By Christmas within budget.
I think working as a family though
That's
was kind
exactly
of
what I had in mind.
our main theme was working with the whole family
It's
to
true.
stay in
Yeah.
budget.
And communicating the expectations was working together, so maybe communicating as a family to come up with creative solutions for Christmas.
That's a good one.
Very good.
We're gonna pretend I wrote that down. I like that. No, and there were some things that you guys did in your skit that I really liked. You did all work together as a family. You were very clear about the expectations, and what I liked the most was you came up with some really creative solutions to kind of still get what you were looking for the children out of Christmas, but in a more creative way, like the dad with the woodworking to make your own house that's unique, and you the child did a great job of getting excited about that and seeing the positive in it. So yeah, I really liked your skit. Excuse me. So the next thing we're gonna do is this week we're going to review and make changes to your spending plan at home as needed. It's important to remember that, like we discussed earlier, a budget doesn't restrict you, it gives you freedom. So it's not written in stone either. It's a fluid thing, it changes as your needs change, and we need to be okay with that. So that's something important to keep in mind as we're looking at our budget this week. You don't have to be afraid to change it. Changing it is okay within reason. We also want to look for the places where your money is leaking and add them to your plan. We discussed at the beginning of the lesson how sometimes we think we have this much money left over and then we find out that it's gone and we don't know where it went. So we want to be very diligent about finding where that money is leaking out and accounting for it so we see where every dollar has gone. Excuse me. And I also want to encourage you to spend time at home together as a family working on your spending plan. So at the bottom of your page, there's a box below that we're going to commit to working on your spending plan. Excuse me. You're going to commit to spending at least however many minutes is reasonable for you at home this week examining your spending plan. That can be daily, that can be weekly, whatever's going to work best for you. And there are also additional spending plan forms available in the back of your workbook. So thank you guys so much for your wonderful skit and for all your participation. These are some great ideas that we have to reflect on this week as we go home and work on our budget. Thank you.